ever play today?
No, but I'll figure one out.
You'll figure it out.
I figure everything out, man. I mean, it's a fun stuff, you know? I mean, Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze. Oh, my. What a day. What a day. What a day. Kevin Durant having 30-point triple-doubles when basically there's 3 healthy Nets. There's entire teams on COVID protocol across all the leagues. You got whole hockey teams out. You got the Cleveland Browns out. Their coach is out. Their quarterback's out. You got the Chargers' whole organization is out. Literally, the Nets, I don't know if they can field the team. But it doesn't matter because you got KD out there trying to take that MVP away from Steph, not letting Steph have anything to his own. I mean, what a crazy week. You got auctions ending like crazy. PWCC, monthly auctions ending. Their premiere's about to end. You got golden auctions. Just a cool time in the hobby, cool time in cards. It's, lots of stuff to talk about. And I'm excited to jump on and chat with you, especially because you've been crushing the mountain all day.
I've been crushing.
So, how you doing, pal? I didn't get to really talk to you today. It's great. We get to catch up in front of everybody. So, it's cool. No?
I'm loving life, man. I'm out of my routine. I miss boxing a little bit, but I'm loving life. And I've been getting a lot of messages from our community. Happy holidays. It's like the time of the year where people slow down and they send each other warm wishes and all that stuff. So, just engaging one-on-one, kind of like that, the non-scalable with our community, getting to know what are people doing for the holidays? Are they traveling? Some people have seen my posts, and I think Dan from Collectible, he lives like an hour or two away from the mountain, so he might come. Uber Collector, he told us, if we want to, after the Mint Collective, go skiing in Las Vegas, he'll take care of us. So just getting to know the community. Life is good. Watching a lot of NBA.
You know what I love? Uber Collector sent you go skiing. He sends me places to get barbecue when I'm in Vegas.
He knows us. He's a self.
It's the deal, man. I mean, look at it. You got to love it. I love it. I love our audience. I love every single one of you guys. So
what else?
Couple family notes. Number one, my wife's birthday today. So that's a fun one. It's my wife's birthday today. So happy birthday. Happy birthday to Mrs. Cage. So that's a good one. I would give you guys, social media if I were to wish a happy birthday, but she doesn't have any. So good stuff. Makes it easy for you guys. And number two, guys, I'm going to try to be a little more organized in these episodes. Maybe try to drink a little bit less. Maybe have some segments. Maybe be a little more professional because I got some good advice before this show from a very handsome Ukrainian man who has run successful businesses. You're not, but your dad is a handsome Ukrainian man, and he gave me some advice before the show. And I'm going to try to take it to heart. I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to be a little more professional in the show going forward because that's a successful man who listens to podcasts and he knows what's good. So I'm gonna take some of those into account. Big thank you to Mr. Goldberg.
I'm this weird guy, man. I'll tell you, I don't.
Family.
And I'm annoying to a lot of people because
no,
I listen to no one. I listen to our community.
Yeah,
no, I do. I do listen to our community. So I'm curious, not like what do you guys think we should, if 2022 is coming around, what would you like to see from us so that we can improve our show, we can improve our community? Let us know. And second, it's funny, we don't plan anything, but we should have probably planned this announcement. But if you guys listen to the pre-roll, you probably already know. So we're mutually parting ways with HGA as a partnership. Honestly, I have no negative or bad things to say about that company. They've always done right by us. They've always paid us. I think there's growing pains that come with any business. I think a business that comes into the hobby after a huge boom and PSA and the big boys close it down and they reaped a lot of the benefits. And then you see kind of as this whole thing ebbs and flows, it's just a difficult business model. So I'm not going to here to disparage or say anything negative because it's just frankly not the case. They've been good to us. They're good people. They have families. And I think everyone's doing the best they can. But we're mutually parting ways. And that's that. You could add to that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to add other than to just take it right into the segment of, we talk about how, times have changed, right? We talk about how, HGA was booming when PSA closed and the market was really different. And I've talked to you as recently as this weekend when I hit a card show and noticed a change in the behavior of people who, were there with their card cases. The fact that there were less people there. I mean, I knew pulling right up that we were in a different landscape because I was able to get a parking spot near the door. Whereas in months prior, let's say 10 months ago, during the big time boom, 8 months ago, I was parking like across the street. I had to like walk across to a different parking lot to park to get to the card show. A small local, 50 table Holiday Inn show.
But it's a seasonal business. Like it's like Halloween, right? Like you can't sell pumpkins year round. Sports cards are seasonal. They ebb and flow. Is that not fair to say? Like people buy less sports cards around the holidays, or they're less likely to go to show around the holidays.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I guess. It's just one show, remember? And yes, it is. I think people are saving their money now. Although, if you're watching some of the monthly auctions from PWCC, they're setting records. They're setting records on these sales. Things are closing at record high prices. People are buying things at record high prices. And it's interesting, man. It really is. And talk about how the market changes, the market ebbs and flows. Let me ask you something, right? We flow right into it, right? Put yourself into the shoes of somebody who came in the hobby in the last year, right? And you bought a lot of ultra modern. You bought a lot of Zion, right? Maybe you bought it graded. Maybe you graded it yourself. Who knows, right? Maybe a little bit of both, right? You bought a bunch of, baseball modern. You bought maybe some quarterbacks. Maybe you bought some Lamar. Maybe you bought some Sam Darnold. Maybe you bought some, quarterbacks from last year.
You bought Tatis at the high.
Yeah, Tatis. Exactly. Basically, like the stuff that was there for the last 12, 16 months, right? And you right now, everything you purchased is down. There's not a single thing from that high-end ultra modern that is higher than what you probably paid for it. Nothing. What are you thinking now as that person? What's your take on the hobby? Shoot, please.
I love this. Thank you for asking. Two things. First, we got to get the mind right, and then we'll talk about the actual tactics. So I've been doing this thing. You guys have to understand every single human being gets in a funk. Everybody gets in a funk in life. There was this great chart that someone showed. It was the difference. It's financially, because financials is how you track progress, but it applies to everything. You could apply it to fitness and life and reading and all. It showed 4 different groups of people: top achievers, top 5%, top 20%, top 50%, and then like the bottom. 4 categories of top achievers. And the biggest difference, and you know this because you guys have watched sports, and everybody, there's so many people out there that could be at the best, right? Let's say Curry is at his best. Kevin Porter Jr. at his best. They have the same peak potential, okay? That makes sense. You could even apply this to NBA. Everybody in the NBA, if you take their best game ever, they're right near each other.
Mm-hmm.
What really separates people is the bottom 100 days, okay? It's your worst performances. It's not the best. It's the worst. And why do I say that? I think it's super important to get out of a funk quicker. So you're making this crazy face. I start to stack little mini wins. Like I do this, I'm on a winning streak thing where anything in life that's under my control goes my way. What are little examples of that?
Someone opens it the right way.
I made a delicious sandwich. I had a delicious sandwich. I went to the store and got a coffee and it just hit right. I got a great DM from just somebody. The way the sun looks, I start stacking these little wins, and I tell myself, I'm on a winning streak. I'm on a winning streak. I say that because those people that have been in the hobby for a year that haven't won, right? They feel like every decision they've made has been another loser. What happens? You start thinking that you're never going to find the next winner, and you start seeing that, right? It's that reticular activating system, that RAS. I'm never going to find another winner. You could apply this to NFTs. You could find this, man, my last 5, again, another loser. And you start thinking it, and the world shows you that. If you flip that and you start stacking wins, small wins, you're going to start seeing that positive momentum. Second is find assets that have some value that give you cash flow back, right? Cut your losses, but cut your losses on things that give you at least a little bankroll. At the end of the day, if you're sitting on all of these dead investments, you have no cash to go find a winner, right? So you need to get some cash back into the system. So find a way to liquidate some of those losers, not the ones that you're going to get $10 for that used to be $100, because that's not going to do much. But if you bought Zion for $400 and you could get $290 for it, take that money because you need that money to deploy elsewhere. So those are my two strategies. One is mindset of stacking small wins, and second is cutting losses to have capital to redeploy.
Okay. What are you redeploying it in?
I'll go into my play. So
nice. We're rolling.
Devin Booker. Devin Booker. I think the Suns are the third best team in the league. But they're a program that I think you could see. I love teams that could win without their best players, because what that shows me is the whole team, the whole organization is united. They're all improving at the same time. Mikal Bridges is incredibly improved. He's a really good player. Cam Johnson, DeAndre Ayton, even Jay Crowder. I mean, that team is very good, and they all kind of bring each other up. Devin Booker, in my opinion, once Chris Paul is gone, is the best player, and that's the alpha, and they're going to turn the keys over. But that's a good team, man. That's a very good team. And his Prism PSA 10, which is from 2015, that was an $800-900 card. Right now, you could have it for $350 to $400. And all that's been is because he's just been sidelined with an injury. The Suns team is more than likely going to be in the Western Conference Finals.
They're very good. They're a very good team.
And even if before that, I don't think this is going to be a $400 to $2,500 card, but I think it could go from $400 to $800, from $400 to $700. And I think finding a small winner like that, there's nothing wrong with it. Devin Booker, Prism PSA 10, base, $400.
I like it. I mean, it definitely is. I mean, it's a small winner. You know, it's going to be, a short-term turnaround on it if the season goes the way you think. He comes back, he gets healthier. I'd like to maybe go a different route to talk to those people about who have been only investing in ultra modern, and maybe maybe you sell your Zion money and you get a few $1,000 back.
2015 ultra modern?
No, that's modern.
Is modern.
That's modern. But it's still sort of like a flip type of play, right? I mean, I guess you could hold Booker and hope he wins a bunch of MVPs and a bunch of championships, but your thought is he's going to go to the Western Conference Finals, you sell it, which is fine. I mean, it's a win. You're trying to get a win. Mine's maybe a little more of a longer term kind of thing. What do you think of those like 90s sets that are iconic sets now? You're talking about if you want to talk about like 90s Jordan inserts, or you want to talk about like 90s where Kobe is in the sets. You talk about like essential credentials. You talk about maybe like the power and the key that I like, the ultra inserts that kind of hit cool, scoring kings. What I've noticed is, and I own a lot of those guys, just so we're on the same page. But I was starting to think about what I would do next if I was deploying some capital. Maybe if I sold some stuff at a loss, and where am I going to put my capital? But I say we have this podcast for a reason. There are a lot of people listening. It's not just about me buying cards and making money on. Let me tell these folks where my brain is, what my thought process is. And I see Nat Turner, a shrewd guy. He knows his stuff, and he posts a lot of cool cards. It's a fun follow. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you probably should follow him, right? Great that
he's buying F1.
Well, he tweeted, I guess I gotta buy F1. But you know what I like to see? So he posts. Everybody knows essential credentials go for Kobe, right? Because of Kobe, that's a cool Kobe card. But you know what I've noticed? A lot of posts from him are the next level down, not just of the insert, right? Because that card is iconic, whether there's 102 of them or 72 or however many numbered. Then people are now rotating into the numbers, but maybe the average collector can't get Kobe. But maybe you're a Grant Hill guy. Maybe you're a Penny Hardaway guy, right? And that card right now has not seen the run-up that the Kobe has, because you have a ton of people chasing the Kobe, but only a small few right now that are set builders, you name it. I have a feeling that changes, right? And we've seen it. We've seen it with the 86 Fleer when the Jordan runs. And you watch as after the Jordan runs, the Ewing runs, even though Ewing is Ewing and not Jordan. The Barkley runs, the Malone runs, the Stockton, the James Worthy, the Magic Johnson, the Kareem Abdul, they all start to run because it's now part of this set that people are chasing, the high-end moves, that rubber band effect, right? Essential credentials, right? If you're not a Grant Hill guy, or if you don't like essential credentials, I talk about power in the key. People don't realize there's a Shaq in that. It's a second-year Shaq insert. And it's a cool card, very low pop at PSA 10, right? Same thing for Scoring Kings. There's a Shaq in that also. There's an Elijah in that, and they're not killer prices. But if you look at like PMGs. I mean, I got a damn Travis Best PMG, and it was 4 figures. Look at that card. That's a gorgeous card. It's $100, $100, right? I wouldn't go too low on the pop because these cards are not numbered. I just like that card because I remember pulling those out of packs myself. Maybe the Essential Credentials is another way to go. Something that's a little rarer, not rare because of the condition. Although in high grade, these are really tough. They're foil. Look, there's the Scoring Kings. It's Shaq. Really cool card. Iconic looking card. People collect these things. And if you want to go more towards numbered cards, there's a way to do that also, right? Like we talked about the Essential Credentials. There are other ones. I happen to like an insert that you guys probably don't know about. Can you do me a favor? Can you type in That's Jam Kobe, if you want, right? Kobe, That's Jam, THATS Jam, JAM. I wasn't going to ask you to do this, but you're on eBay anyway. But this is a cool insert people don't even know exists. Real low pop and high grade, right? But it is a real cool looking. Look at that card. It's sort of see-through, right? You see these cards, and you know who's in the set? Not just Kobe. People chase the Kobe. Trust me, the Kobe's an expensive card. It's tough to find a PSA 10. Iverson, Duncan, Grant Hill. Big names, right? Like
Kevin Garnett, probably.
Cool inserts, right? So I guess my thought is pick one you like, pick one that's fun. Maybe start building that set. That's Jam. If that's your there's a Marbury in that, which is purple, cool coloring. There's Iverson. I remember pulling a Marbury with my brother out of a pack. Pretty funny. But maybe stick with more numbered ones. These ones that I'm talking about here, Power and the Key, Iverson. These That's Jam. They're not numbered, but they're still real low pop in decent grades, and they're not killer costs, right? I'm trying to think of other like number cards. Maybe people are doing it now with golds, right? People are buying golds of anybody. You don't have to just buy a Kobe or a LeBron gold. Other golds are a crazy price also, right? Because they're numbered, they're rare. I have a feeling that I don't want to go too far down into the second tier, right? But you could do the same thing with the 2003 cards of LeBron. Maybe it's Bosch. Maybe it's not a rookie.
Darko Milicic.
I wouldn't go Darko. But maybe it's Wade. I mean, we've always talked about Wade not being, as appreciated as he should be. But as you watch those high-end cards, these 90s inserts, I like them because obviously I'm old, and a lot of people listening to this are probably like, that's crazy. Why would I buy something that's 20 years old? Who's going to go after it? But I have a feeling that money is going to rotate into that, because the question I asked you is sort of semi-loaded, right? There's going to be a lot of people who take it and leave. They can take their lumps, they take their money, move it into something else. The ones that still have a bankroll left, whether it's because they still have dry powder, or it's because they're smart like you, and they take whatever they can out of these, and they cut their losses, and they sell the assets that they have and take some money out. I think you almost get a little, I don't call it gun shy, but that's sort of the best word, right? And you say, you know what? The Ultramodern is going to burn me, but I still love cards. And I have a nostalgic link. And I was a Shaq guy, or I was a Kobe guy, or I was a Duncan guy, right? And I think people are looking to put their money into these type of cards. I just named the ones that I remember myself. There's a ton of these out there, guys. We talk about them all the time. You can look it up. There's ones I don't even know about, right? And it depends on who you like. If you like the early 90s, the late 90s, the early 2000s, there's different inserts for different type of stuff. And this kind of dovetails with what I was talking about with the exquisite stuff, right? Or the flawless stuff. Iconic stuff, iconic brands, things that the higher end are going and they're in bidding wars. The lower stuff hasn't caught up yet, but I have a feeling that it will. And I have a feeling those are areas where you're going to see some money flow go into as more of like a safer store. Whether it's, I'm not saying go down too far of a level, right? Like you say Darko, I wouldn't go Darko. I noticed the names.
It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some searching. It's going to be, what you're saying is there may be some deals there.
Yeah.
There might be someone who sells, a Shaq PSA 9 Scoring Kings or a Shaq PSA 9 in the key.
Yep.
They're just trying to unload it,
because they're hoping for a 10. Right? They're
Yep.
hoping for a 10. They graded it. They bought it at a show. They're hoping for a 10. They got a 9. And it's like, all right, I'm going to move on to the next one. I need some cash for the show. You know what I mean? You see those cards in showcases and stuff like that, right? The Fleer, There's a million different inserts. Like I could probably go through your Michael Jordan inserts. And guys, here's another thing, right? here's another fun thing, right? I was gonna do this myself, but the hell with it. You guys, you listen to us. Here's value, right? I'm a Jordan collector, and I try to follow Jordan auctions. 2 nights ago, the basketball auctions ended for PWCC, and there was a Michael Jordan 1996 Fleer Ultra Platinum Medallion.
Yeah,
Cool card, with like him going
incredible
like this.
card.
I've been looking for one of those, right? And
Ultras are so hard to grade.
But I always miss out on it, right? I always miss out. I'm always like, and clearly the price on the Jordan, especially in PSA 10, they're crazy because you get bidding wars and that's all it takes. But I was ready to go to I bid. I was in the extended bidding, $11,000, $12,000, $13,000 for that card. When previously the record was like $8,000, right? So I was ready to go, and it's because of exactly what I'm telling you guys that, you see what has happened in the last year, and you pivot your bankroll, and you're ready to set a new record price because it's a card you want to have in your collection. That card sold for $29,000 after never selling for $9,000, right? It sold for $8 and change the last sale. But you know what that tells me? I want to go look at 1996. I want to try to find some more platinum medallions of stars in 96. I'm going to go look for a Shaq.
Out there, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to go look for the Shaq. I'm going to go look for the other guys. Iverson. Well, I mean, 96 is like rookies for those guys. So but still, those would probably be expensive. I'm talking about 96 had Jordan. Think of the other guys who were in the league, whether it's Olajuwon or Barkley or any of those guys, right? Because those cards were probably, in PSA 10, a couple $100. Because if the Jordan, it was at 8,000 or 6,000 before, those cards are not that much. But now when Jordan's $29,000, you're gonna have that same string, that same pull it up, because you look at a Jordan in a case that's 29 grand, and maybe that's just one comp. Obviously, it's maybe a bidding war between a couple people. But why wouldn't an Olajuwon or a Barkley now also, because I'm sure the pop is tiny on these things, right? I'm sure. So it's just
I love the 1996 Ultra set is one of my favorite sets. I've talked about that set a lot. It's a near impossible grade too.
So I mean, it's what I think about. You watch these things, and it's not. There's actionable items on these things, even if the card you're looking at ends out of your price range, which this one did for me. I love it. I wish I had all the money in the world. That way I could bid whatever I want and not care. But I think the real lesson there is, what can you take from it, right? That there's money being spent in these things. And you know what? I could be wrong, guys. I'm not always right. I could be wrong, and it could just be people want Jordan for Jordan. And there won't be that trickle over effect. The problem I have with saying I'm going to be wrong is that we've seen that trickle over time and time again. When the set becomes iconic, when that card in it starts to move, I'm not talking about, don't go buy Boris Diaw cards, guys. You know what I mean? That's not going to move, right? It's got to be.
You said don't go that far down.
Right. So, I mean, does Penny Hardaway have a 96? I'm sure he has a platinum medallion. We know there are people collecting him. You know what I mean? Does Chris Webber maybe? That might be as far down as I go, But there were stars in the league. Karl Malone, I mean, there were guys who people collect. There are people who PC these guys. They're Hall of Famers, all-time scorers. And you probably can find that Ultra Platinum medallion real cheap. People don't realize that now Jordan is worth $29,000 unless they're listening to us. So it's just, that's the way my brain goes while I'm looking for cards that might be undervalued. There's a lot of ways to do this.
Do you want to take a guess how much a 1996, 1997 Platinum Medallion Anthony Hardaway card is? Not graded.
A couple bucks? Like $100, $200, $400?
327.
Yeah.
On ComC.
Yeah, I'd be curious what if you could find a PSA 10. That's a tough part, right? If the PSA ones are probably pretty rare, especially in high grade. But I'd be looking for that. Because, if you're getting it for, especially Penny, there are people out there collecting Penny. Penny, a lot of people collect him. Grant Hill, people collect him. So, and, anyway, if it's not that one, watch the auctions. If you're a football guy.
Kevin Garnett, Platinum Medallion 1996 is $321, graded.
Yeah. So that one, I would bet, probably move. You know what I mean? Because now the top side. And that's 29. Go ahead, shoot.
Cage, there's this guy named Pooh Anderson. Have you ever heard of him? Pooh Richardson. Pooh
Richardson, I've heard of. Pooh Anderson, I had never heard of.
Well, I got confused with him and Nick Anderson. I blurred them into one.
Pooh Richardson.
Look at this guy, Pooh Richardson.
Yeah, he played for the Clippers, right? Yes, there he is. It's at auction, $2.32.
All right, 2 more topics real quick.
Shoot.
Chargers, Chiefs tomorrow.
Chargers,
game.
Chiefs tomorrow. Fantasy
Chiefs on the road,
playoffs.
+3. Who do you got?
So it's Chargers, Chiefs on the road. You said Chiefs +3?
Chiefs -3.
Oh, okay. I take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are a better team. Not because I think the Chiefs are a great team. I just think the Chargers are pretenders. I never really bought into the Chargers. The Chargers have had some COVID stuff recently, definitely. And Keenan Allen's coming back, which is helpful, but he has missed some time. You don't know how healthy he is. Listen, I don't believe in either of those guys, but I think Mahomes and the Chiefs are better. I think their defense has stepped it up a little bit. I don't buy the Chargers defense at all. So, this could be either both offenses score a lot and the Chiefs score more, or it could be the Chiefs don't need to score that much because their defense is better and is able to stop the Chargers offense. I just don't think the one weakness that I see there is the Chargers defense not being able to stop the Chiefs offense. So that's my deal.
So
I'm not going to go as far as to say that that Mahomes is back. I won't go that far. I'm still nervous about Mahomes. Shoot.
I love it. So Steve Kerr's probably coach of the year. I got to give some love to JB Bickerstaff, man, and what he's done with this Cavs team. Look out for – talk about building culture. You see guys like Okoro, Laurie Marketing, guys that were basically nobodies, right? Okoro was – I mean, you gave him as a play.
I gave him as a play.
$2, $1 as a rookie.
Because they were not tapping into his offensive potential. You actually said that when I gave it as a play. You're like, no one's going to like him because he's only scoring 2-3 points a game, but he has the ability to score more if the right coach taps into his potential. That was part of the play.
Kevin Love washed up. Yep. Jared Allen traded he's been able to take so much of these. I mean, Ricky Rubio. Rubio. He's been able to extract so much out of these young prospects, these young talent. I got to give him credit, man, what he's done with this Cavs team. It's really, really impressive.
Can I say something about Steve Kerr? You said he's probably coach of the year. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I was watching the Knicks game where Curry broke the record, and they interviewed Kerr at halftime. I think the Knicks were actually up by 1 at the time. It was a 1-point game. I think the Knicks were winning by 1 because, they did the whole celebration, and then the Knicks played decent defense, and, Curry didn't hit another 3-pointer until well into the second half. But they interviewed Kerr about it, how he's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And the last question they asked him was, with all this craziness, Steve, the 3-point shooting, Curry, his parents here, Pete Davidson in a ridiculous pink sweatshirt, what's the takeaway? What do you want people to remember about tonight? They said to Steve Kerr. What's the thing you want people to remember? You know what he said? I'm going to remember we won.
And what's cool about Kerr is he's a competitor, but he's not like the Michael Jordan in-your-face competitor. Yeah. But he's low-key a winner, and there's not a guy in the league that's probably won more than him.
Listen, you got to give the dude some credit. He's definitely winning. And I love the storylines, man, however it shapes up. I mean, I'd love to see a Curry versus Durant finals. Wouldn't that be an interesting finals? There's definitely matchups, man. Football. Do you want to see the Patriots against Brady? Do you want to see the Chiefs against Brady again? In a rematch?
I want to see Patriots versus the Bucks.
A lot of people.
I called that. I said that's what's going to happen. By the way,
you did.
So I'm sticking with that one.
You did call it, and it would be a good Super Bowl. It would definitely be a good Super Bowl. 100%. Brady, man, it's amazing. It really is amazing. What he's doing at this age.
Pooh Richardson.
Pooh Richardson was a good player. He was a good player. I mean, he would not be – when I say go out and buy a 96 platinum, ultra platinum medallion, I'm not talking about buying Pooh Richardson. But you can. Because, guys, when PMG came out, those red and greens, did people expect that the most basic ones of Travis Best and Ronnie Cycli and stuff people would be paying $700, $800, $1,000 for in crappy grades? No, but people are.
There's a PMG I'm eyeing for you, Cage. I think you already know, but I'll tell you it. I hope you could snag this one. This is one that I think is going to be like a really dope PMG.
Nice.
Luca Nation, that's another episode.
Is it a Luca Nation PMG? Is it me and you like on a PMG,
That'd be cool.
like doing kind of like cool stuff? No.
I think I told you today, man. I don't know what 2022 is going to bring, but I'm very excited. We have a one of a kind community, and that's not even my words. That's what our sponsors are saying. Like, your community is like we've never seen. But I'm also excited for our team because it's not just Cage and I. You know, we have an amazing team: Manny, Alex. We have people from the community, MBT, who help out and are part of this community that we're building. And I'm very excited to see what we could all do together.
I love it. I think it's great. And guys, listen, if you haven't tuned in, we're probably winding down the football show with whatnot. There's not too many weeks left in the regular season, right? So we got, what is this, week 15? So there's 3 more weeks of the regular season. Maybe we'll do a playoff thing. We'll talk to whatnot. Send whatnot some messages. Tell them you want us to do basketball and baseball because I have fun, man. That's a fun
baseball
show.
You would crush.
That's a fun show. Let's hope there's baseball this season.
There will be. All right, Luca Nation.
Take care, everybody.